Hi, I'm Weiser Cornell, and welcome to this webinar called Begin Within: How Self-Trust Creates Closer Relationships. Lovely to be with you today. And I've got three amazing processes that I think you're going to like. So settle in, sit back. I'm going to show my slides. So here we are, Begin Within. And this is about relationships. And we can just pause and be aware that relationships with friends and family and partners enrich our lives in countless ways. And that there's some special magic in those moments when connections with others just simply flow. It's so nice when we can be completely ourselves, speak our truth, feel truly seen. Sounds like that's a recipe for a healthy relationship. I'd like you to pause and sense if that feels right and true to you too. But what happens when we don't trust? And we might hold back. We might compromise too much. We might struggle to express our needs. We might not be sure that it's okay to have our needs. And what I'm saying today is that the trust that matters most for relationships to go well begins with ourselves. Trust begins within. So, this is me. I'm Ann Weiser Cornell, and I treasure my relationships with my partner, my family, my colleagues, my students. And sometimes, thanks for the heart, and sometimes those relationships are challenging. And I'm grateful that I have a way to stay steady within myself or come back to steady within myself, even when relationship waters are stormy. And my relationships nurture me. I hope I nurture them too. So, just a reminder to participate in this webinar, you can use the chat feature at any time to share your responses and ask questions, and be sure to select everyone. The little word everyone will appear above the place where you send the chat so that other people here can see what you wrote. And here's our plan for today. Number one, to discover why you might struggle with trusting yourself and talk a bit about how to rebuild the trust. Number two, learn what makes self-acceptance and accepting others so hard sometimes and how to make it easier. Number three, practice how to balance vulnerability and strength so you can express yourself openly and calmly with another person. Huh. Wow, if we do all that, we'll be doing really well. But at least we'll get started on it. And let's get started now. So, topic number one, what's it like to struggle to trust yourself in relationships? Maybe you find yourself wondering things like, do I have a right to my own feelings and needs? And can I listen to the other person's feelings without wiping out my own? And maybe you're saying to yourself, I worry I'm going to repeat old mistakes. So, what's needed is a way to be aware of and be with your own feelings and needs, right? So, you can be with your own feelings and needs. You're the ones there for them no matter what. And wouldn't it be great if that's a way that leaves you open to taking in the other person's feelings and needs as well? So it's a both, not an either or, right? Not an either or, but a both and. I'm here and you are here. So the key to that is to be self in presence, the ability to be present with how you are and how you feel. Self in presence is turning toward your feelings, allowing them to be here. And the ability to do that can be cultivated, just like gardens are cultivated. When you are self in presence, you are a big enough space to acknowledge your own feelings and someone else's. So we're going to do a process where we practice this. All right, then. So we're going to start with pausing, inviting you to be aware of your body, inviting you to be aware of how you're sitting, how you're supported. And aware of your body's contact on what you're sitting on, feeling perhaps your feet, your seat, your back. And also you might be lying down or standing. That's okay too. Most people are sitting. And let your awareness come inward, sensing in the inner area of your body. That inner area that includes your throat, your chest, your stomach, your belly. Maybe say inside yourself the words, I am here. Now, I'd like to take you through a little process where we're going to practice being present to our own feelings and the feelings of another person with enough space inside to do both. So imagine that someone who's close to you is sitting here with you. So we'd like to have you think of an uncomplicated relationship, someone you feel close to and comfortable with. We're going to start with the easy. Because when you start with what's easy, you can still discover what's challenging. And that's what we're doing here now. All right. So take a moment for you to think of that other person. Imagine them here. Now, we're going to have that other person give you a compliment. Okay, so here you are with your awareness in your own body, staying present within yourself. And the other person is going to smile at you and say something that they appreciate about you. And if you can't think of anything, I'll feed you a line. Have the other person say to you, I really appreciate how genuine you are. But let anything come to mind. Now, we're imagining the person says it to you, but don't respond yet. All right? And almost like we could freeze time, okay? We can put a pause button right here. The person gave you an appreciation, a compliment. And you are in a soundproof booth and you're pausing to allow what comes up in you when you hear that from them. What comes up in you when you hear that from them? Give a little time to that. And everything is welcome. It could be, oh, I don't believe you, or it could be, what took you so long to notice, or it could be, I hate it when people say nice things about me, or it could be, wow, that feels so good to hear. Yeah, just let your own body give you your own response to hearing that appreciation from that person. Now, inside yourself, you acknowledge your own feelings. Whatever it is that came up in you, I am sensing something in me is responding this way, and I am saying hello to that. So you've given yourself a space to really have your own response, whatever it is. And notice what that feels like to take that kind of space. They said it, but now we're pausing. You get to have your own response. We're not worrying about them right now. Yeah? Okay. And so now start up time again. Look at the other person and don't say anything, but see if you can tell what it meant to them to say that. Like, so you've sensed your own point of view, how it felt to hear it. Now you're going to practice sensing what it meant to them to say it to you. So I might feel, oh my gosh, I hate people saying nice things about me. But when I put awareness on the other person, I might get that they are sharing something really true for them and that it touches them to be able to say that. Or you might get that they're saying it to try to please you and just sense how it is for them, what it means, what you imagine it means to them to say it. Okay. Huh. All right, we're going to complete this exercise. That's all we're going to do. Feeling the difference between my own reaction, which I can be with, and I can have a space inside me where I can be with my own reaction, and then my space for what it meant to the other person to say that. And my guess about that, because I can't know for sure. And feeling that those can be separate from each other. How was that? What did you notice about doing that? Share in the chat if that was illuminating, striking, interesting, or if you have further questions. Because that's our first of 3 processes today. And I think you can probably imagine that this, what we've been practicing here, is applicable also to people who say more stressful things, right? We can still have the difference. We can have our own full reaction and have space for theirs. Yeah, yeah. Holly writes, never thought about how they felt. Sharing the compliment makes me feel more loved. Oh, good. So glad to hear that, my dear. Yeah. And Mel says, it's interesting that it feels like there's something in the way of me feeling the sweetness of the compliment. Uh-huh. Something you could take a longer time with there, isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody, DC girl wrote, insightful exercise. The comment made me feel seen and made my partner feel useful and meaningful to participate in me feeling seen. Ooh, lovely. Yeah. It is a process in relationships. It's a complex process because I feel seen and you feel me being seen, and I feel you feeling me being seen. And yet we can do it. That's what we're built for. It does help to separate for a while and feel that both are there. Yeah. Debbie writes, it made me realize I don't know exactly what they might have felt or meant. And that's an important realization too, because assumptions get in the way, don't they? I mean, we can't do without assumptions. Obviously, we have to make guesses, but we need to know that they are guesses, and that if we are working to create more close relationships, at some point we may want to check. All right, I'm going to go back now and we're going to do the second of our processes. Let me share my screen. Here we go. So the second process is about accepting yourself and others. I love that. I love that photo. Looks like somebody accepting herself. It's important to accept yourself. And relationships are one of the places where it can be challenging. Maybe harder to accept yourself with some people. It may be harder to accept yourself in the presence of another person. And also, other people can be exasperating, annoying, infuriating. So maybe we don't always feel accepting of them. So let's do some exploration of that. So think of a close relationship you have. Doesn't, it could be the same person that you were just practicing with in the previous exercise. Or it could be a partner, a good friend, a family member, whoever comes to mind. And then imagine this person here. Take a moment to sense if you accept yourself in that relationship. So by that, I mean, if you feel good about yourself when you're with that other person. So we're imagining the person here so that you can remember what it's like to be with them. So you can imagine or sense right now, do I feel good about myself when I'm with that person? Do I feel good about who I am, how I behave, how I live, how I act? Just notice. And if you find that you don't, then let's use this language to acknowledge that. So let's say you feel I'm trying to think of, let's say you feel one down, right? Like lesser than. So then you would acknowledge by saying, I'm sensing something in me feeling lesser than in that relationship. Or maybe you notice you feel awkward in that relationship. And so then you would say, I'm sensing something in me feels awkward in that relationship. So we're using the language of I am sensing something in me feels, which enables you to be present with what you feel without it being all of you. So now say hello to that. I am acknowledging or saying hello to that feeling in me now. Give yourself a little time just to say, hello, I know you're there. Now, in that same close relationship, ask yourself if you accept the other person. If you feel fundamentally that they are okay the way they are. So there may be many things about that person that annoy you or infuriate you. I'm thinking of my own most beloved sweetheart. He can be infuriating. But fundamentally, I feel he's okay the way he is. Right? So just ask yourself, Do I accept the other person as fundamentally okay the way they are or not? And then see what else comes up. Like there's something about the other person that I just can't accept. And then we're going to use the same language we used before to acknowledge. I am sensing something in me feels like I have to hide around that person, or like I really wish they weren't so people pleasing, or acknowledging whatever comes up in you around that person. And I'm saying hello to that. So what we're doing here, we're not telling ourselves we should be accepting of ourselves or of the other person. Instead, what we're doing is becoming aware of whether we are accepting and how accepting we are and what gets in the way. And then whatever isn't accepting is accepted, is accepted. Even what isn't accepting in us is accepted. But we turn toward it. We say hello to it. You see, what we're doing is seeing if it's possible to be an imperfect person with another imperfect person. So let's take one more moment in our process here to just celebrate imperfection. Yes, I'm a work in progress. You're a work in progress. And whatever comes up in me about me and you, I have room for it. I can turn toward it. Just taking a moment to let that in. I love that strawberry. And I'm sure it's delicious. Okay, I'm going to come back and see what's going on with you. I see the last thing in the chat was Teresa saying, I'm feeling something that's fearful to say what I really think for fear of being attacked. Yeah, good for you for acknowledging the something that's fearful and what it's fearful about. Galari is writing, I love the realization that we're both work in progress. And Rosanna writes, it's tricky to switch to self in presence to accept the unaccepting part. I easily fall back into being the unaccepting part. Well, that shows you that there's something that could use some practice. Hope you got just an inkling of it, that you could almost feel what that was like. Somebody wrote, I feel it's unacceptable to not accept the other. Well, and I hope it helps when you say, it's not me that doesn't accept the other, it's something in me that I can then spend some time with and listen to, you know. Truth is, one of the things that's hardest for me to accept about my sweetie is that he doesn't ever put the top back on bottles. But I accept it now. It's funny. That's all. All these bottles around the house with the tops off. It's all right. It's better than not having them. And it's kind of cute. Laura writes, I used to think my friend is perfect and I was striving to be as good. And now I see neither of us is perfect. Thank you, Holly. Maybe I'm the only person in the world who would accept him for at least almost accept him for not putting the tops back on bottles. I feel like he doesn't want to waste any moment of his precious life. Yeah. Debbie writes, I can sense something in me is afraid they will not be there for me as much as I really want, and it helped to see that. Yeah. I mean, a lot of what this is that we're doing here is awareness. Awareness is so powerful, and we bring awareness to our relationships. We can still we can still choose how much we share. We don't have to spill out everything we feel. The important first relationship is your own relationship inside with what you feel. And then you acknowledge it, and then you sense how much of that is right to say, taking into account where the other person is coming from and how things are going there. All right, I've got a third process to share with you. Let's do that now. Up to our strawberry again. So our third process has to do with expressing yourself, all right? Because sometimes you want to. And it begins within you with what you know to be true. So let's think of a person you trust and feel close to. Yes, it could be the same one you've been using in the other processes, or it could be somebody else. So we're starting easy, not with the most challenging person in your life, but with people you already trust and feel close to, because there's still going to be stuff. And when you practice with what's easy, then that carries over to when things are harder. Let's imagine you're sitting opposite that person. All right, take a moment. You're still feeling in your own body. It's really important that we connect with our own inner feelings as we do this. So breathing, feeling your body, feeling yourself present, and imagine you're sitting opposite that person. Now, imagine that each of you has a circle of light around you, because you have a circle of light around you, they have a circle of light around them. However you want to visualize that is fine. Even if it's not something you easily do to visualize, at least you can think, yeah, they have a circle of light. Each of us is a whole, complete person. This is a very powerful process because we grow up so intertwined, and we are intertwined. Relationship is what it's all about. We're born in relationship. We live our lives in relationship. And we each have our whole complete life, especially adults. So we're picturing that circle of light around you and around the other person. Now connect the circles. So there's a place where the circles touch. And the feeling now is the two of you are both separate and together. So there's a feeling of separate, and there's a feeling of together. Let's pause and let that in. And also notice if it's challenging, right? If that feels hard to do, if it's hard to feel the person is connected with you, or if it's hard to feel the person is separate from you, we'll notice each one of those and be interested in that. And now, find something you know to be true and imagine saying it to the other person. Now, maybe it's going to be a compliment. And so this could be the reverse of the first exercise, where we imagine the other person giving you a compliment. Maybe in this exercise, you'll say something that you appreciate about them. Or it could just be something like, I like being here with you. Something simple and true and not complicated. First, find it within yourself. Yes, that feels true. And then say it to that other person in your imagination. And you wouldn't say it if it didn't feel safe. So check first if it feels safe to say, and then say it. And whatever you said, what's interesting to discover, is it okay if they disagree with you? And is it okay if they agree with you? Are they both okay? And what I mean by that is you told something true for you. Are you open to them having a different response to that than you expected? Are you curious what their response is? And either, you're discovering that you can be open to how they feel, even if it's different from you, or you're discovering that there's a problem with that there's something that needs attention, something you can turn toward, something you can be interested in. So pausing. Just to go over this exercise, what we did was we imagined the person, we gave each person a sense of being present and connected, separate and together. You spoke and you were open to whatever response they had. Good. So let's share what we discovered in the chat. How was that? Jude wrote, something in me is feeling guarded. It thinks that if I reveal too much of myself, the person will be burdened. That's a nice discovery. So something in you worried about burdening the other. That's something for you to turn toward. I won't say it's right or wrong to feel that way. Of course, we can't say that. Feelings are not right or wrong, but feelings are they're like a trailhead. They're a place to begin. We can start with something in me worries the other person will feel burdened if I tell what's true. Let's see if there's more there. And Malvina writes, sensing the discomfort in my body is already a step. Yes, it is. Beautiful. Nice. Rachel writes, I feel more flexible and patient. That sounds like a great outcome. Celia writes, very insightful, as now something in me feels more relaxed if the other person dismisses my compliment. Beautiful. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I love the idea of living in a world with people where they are free and we can be connected. And I'm free. They are free, I'm free, and we can be connected. Otherwise, we're burdening each other. Like what part of Jude is worried will happen, that the person will be burdened by me. Yeah, beautiful. Such an eye-opener, says Anka, to have this in mind, that the other person is allowed to have their own response. Yes, exactly. Debbie writes, I feel like saying thank you, like for being here. And doing this with a direct facial look, taking her in and being there with her. Nice. Right? Very nice. Very nice. This is lovely. Yeah. So these are processes that can help. Explore more trust in relationships, which is really more trust in yourself, more trust in your ability to be present with yourself, to see how much space you can actually give yourself. Very sweet. Very sweet. I've got something to tell you. I know many of you are here to learn more about the new course I'm about to offer. So if I may have your attention for a little while longer, I would love to tell you about the new course and what we're going to do there, what you can expect from that. So how can we support you even more, right? The kinds of processes we did together today. We have a brand new course. It's called Growing Closer, 21 Days to More Trust, openness, and belonging. So this is the kind of course I sometimes give. It's called a 21-day course. And it's pretty cool because what happens is for 21 days, excuse me, for 21 days, each day you get a video made by me, about 10 minutes long, no more than that, 8 or 10 minutes, that takes you through a little process like the ones we did today. And also some talk by me, some stories from my life, and so on. And we are also going to meet live 3 times at this same time of day. So the same time this webinar happened, 2:30 Pacific time, we're going to meet live. That's not a place where the course has content. It's just a place to connect with each other and share what's coming for us. So every day for 21 days, you get a video. And each one is a simple daily practice designed to guide you through emotional and practical aspects of cultivating closer relationships, starting with how you relate to yourself. They do come by video, but they also come by audio and PDF. So however you want to experience the daily practice, you've got 3 different ways. And you'll be part of, like the people on this call, a community of like-minded people cheering you on, sharing the challenges and successes of their own journeys. And those are the 3 live Q&A calls with me where we'll deepen the conversation around self-trust and relationships and all that brings up. And the result, well, I feel you'll probably end up knowing how to express your authentic self with more confidence and without apology, navigate difficult conversations with clarity and compassion. I don't promise that'll be completely easy when the course is over, but we'll take some steps in that direction. And this can create space for true intimacy, emotional and physical both. And it'll stand on a foundation of self-trust. So self-trust is the foundation that can transform every relationship. And this me, delivered in my usual style, which is to make things easier for you and not harder. Yeah. So the relationships you long for are possible, no matter where you're starting from. It's open. The course is open for registration or to read about what happens in it. So what else would you like to say? Or you have questions? What's the time commitment? Are there prerequisites? No. This course is open to anyone. It will take you through focusing-oriented processes without you having to be taught focusing first. What's the time commitment? It will be about 10 minutes a day. And if you miss a day, nobody minds. You just watch 2 videos the next day. The 3 Q&A calls, they're an hour each, are not required. If you can come, great. They'll be recorded. They're like extra. Oh, and also there's 3 bonuses that are part of the course that are available right now. Number 1, the Connection Toolkit, essential resources for closer, more fulfilling relationships. Number 2, Rooted in Presence, guided practices to stay strong and steady in relationships. And number 3, breaking free from assumptions and confusion. So those are the bonuses that are available right away. What else? What else did you want to share from today? Joy wrote, it's great to realize I don't have to deny my truth to be connected. Yeah, isn't that great? And Eric writes, I like that we're separate and connected rather than enmeshed. That makes all the difference, doesn't it? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. How was that for you? And is there anything else you'd like to say? Good. Teresa says, I am grateful the process has pulled together a lot that I've been experiencing lately. Yeah, just to say again, the most important points I feel like I'm making today, which is that your relationship with yourself is key to your relationships being good with other people. That your ability to be present to your own feelings, no matter what they are, is crucial. And that's not something you can just do. I can't just say, now do that by snapping your fingers. It's something you develop. It's something you cultivate. And it cultivates through practice. So one thing we did today was we gave you 3 chances to practice noticing your own feeling states and acknowledging them. And then we saw how you can bring your own real whole self in touch with another person, right? Without having to fix them or be fixed by them. You can even have your feelings about them. That's possible too. So, hoping you had a good time. I sure did. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you soon. Bye. Bye for now.